Okay. Welcome, everyone, to the second annual Web TV Trailblazers Summit. I want to apologize for us being, 19 minutes late for this broadcast. We had a few technical difficulties, mostly with, I have an ancient Dell computer, and I just switched over to my Chromebook. You know, Google, Hangouts on Air, Chromebook. Okay, they got a freebie there. Okay, anyway.
And HP got us. Screw you.
I'm really honored to have E.J. De La Pena here to talk to us about his TV pilot, Nobility. And E.J. is an up-and-coming actor, filmmaker, and he started as a child actor, and he's been in all kinds of things for more than 2 decades, such as Jingle All the Way with Arnold Schwarzenegger, ABC's Boy Meet World, and Run, Ronnie Run with David Cross and Bob Odenkirk.
Yep.
After college, he returned to the entertainment industry and almost immediately began working on multiple projects. Most notably, he's the creator and executive producer behind Nobility, which is a new sci-fi series starring Walter Koenig of Star Trek and Chris Judge of Stargate SG-1, and Doug Jones of Falling Skies. And I'm telling you, this pilot is star-studded. If you're a sci-fi fan, you're gonna freak out when you see who's in it. Anyway, welcome, EJ. EJ, can you tell us what exactly Nobility is?
Wait, Nobility what? What's that?
Okay, you don't know? No. There's somebody else there that knows?
Yeah, somebody tell me what Nobility is. I have no idea. No, Nobility is a new sci-fi dramedy that we just shot the pilot for. The basic concept is Firefly meets The Office, and so you've got this very zany crew. As the tagline goes, humanity's most powerful starship with a crew that's anything but noble.
I really like your tagline. What is the tagline exactly? These are not the crew that you...
Oh, these are not the heroes you're looking for.
Yeah, these are not the heroes you're looking for. It's awesome.
Yes. Yeah, we got 2 taglines. These these are not the heroes you're looking for, and the one I said earlier. And yeah, it's set 700 years in the future on the starship Nobility, humanity's most powerful starship, and the defunct, incompetent pan-human government has decided that they're going to show humanity what they're all about and how they're going, and how much good they can do for humanity. So they're going to do a documentary on their flagship, perhaps not quite realizing that their flagship, the crew of their flagship, isn't exactly the kind of thing they want to be broadcasting, which they find out very quickly.
Okay, so this is sort of like a revolutionary thingy in a way, or?
Well, it's definitely never been done in quite this way before. Obviously, there's a lot of shows out there that kind of have that on with, such as Modern Family, The Office, every reality TV show ever made, but it's never been done as a comedy set in space on a starship.
I don't think it has.
Nope. There's been a lot of good sci-fi comedies out there like Galaxy Quest and Red Dwarf and Hyperspace, but nothing quite done this way.
And so what makes it different from all the rest? Exactly. I know you can't give away secrets because it's, the pilot or whatever, but...
Well, no, it's fine. That's, but I can talk about it. I just need to avoid certain story details.
Right.
I think that this show is different in several different respects. First off, you got just the basic premise. It's a the kind of mockumentary in space going on, but in addition to that, we refer to it more of a dramedy than a comedy, just because, yes, you have a lot of that fun, quirky, antics of the crew. The captain's a womanizer who just sits around playing video games all day. The engineer's an alcoholic who, literally in the middle of being attacked, is more concerned with whether or not he can still drink his whiskey than actually, helping save the ship. You've got just this wide range of very eccentric characters. But through all that, it's still a real universe with real people with consequences for their actions. All of our Arzanian crew have reasons for behaving the way they do in their backstory, and they're all very, in a lot of sense, very damaged people. And that's why they have these odd, eccentric behaviors.
So then Firefly meets The Office sounds very appropriate then.
That's what we figured.
So how did you come up with the idea for Nobility?
Well, I was working with the man who eventually became the director of Nobility, Neil Johnson, with a project of his where I played one of the leads. That actually just came out recently, called Starship, and it was a lot of fun. It was the first time I actually got to act in space, so yay. Being a sci-fi nut, that was a big thing for me. And I was just kind of on the set a little bit before we were shooting, and just kind of getting a feel for my console. I was playing the Navigator, and so I was like Chekhov. I started out as Chekhov, and then as the movie went on, I became Sulu in Starship. And I was just kind of sitting there getting a feel for the character, the set, the console, all that kind of stuff. And somebody had recommended to me that I do a comedy series. And so that was kind of going through my head while I had all this sci-fi stuff going on while I'm on set. And all of a sudden, it just clicked. Modern Family in Space had never been done before. And just from there, it kind of got rolling, and I started developing it and writing it. And as things moved on, it became more and more, Firefly meets The Office, which is what we ended up as our main pitch to everyone. I'm sorry, I can't. You're muted. You're muted.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Victory.
Yay! I must have touched something wrong on the Chromebook. Anyway.
It happens.
Okay. My question was, how long did it take you from like the idea conception to script?
Well, I immediately went into filming, so with Starship right
really?
after that.
Wow, interesting.
Well, we're filming Starship, not Nobility. So it there was a delay there, and then I started writing it towards the end of when we were filming Nobility. We had a break of a few days in production, and I kind of got on a roll. And then I think the script finally finished. I think I finally was finished with it and happy with it. I came up with the concept in November, and we finished it, or I finished the first draft in. It was shortly before WonderCon, so I want to say like March or April.
Of this year?
No, of 2013.
Oh, okay, last year. Okay, I was gonna say, boy, you're a major indie producer, because usually, we move fast, but that's pretty quick.
Well, what can I say? It's what I do.
Well, tell us all about the actors that, the main actors you got for the roles, and how did you get them?
Well, as far as how I got them, let's just say my knees are very raw. No, I'm kidding. Gotcha on that one. No, well, we were actually very fortunate to have the cast we have. It's an excellent group of folks, ranging from, you said, Walter Koenig from Star Trek, Chris Judge from Stargate SG-1, Tori Higginson from Stargate Atlantis, who played Dr. Weir. We have James Kyson from Heroes, who played Ando in Heroes. We have Adrian Wilkinson, who played Xena's daughter in Xena. Gosh, I always forget like one of them because we have like 8 or 9, and it's really funny. Oh, Cass Anvar from Assassin's Creed and Star Wars Clone Wars. Who else? Who else am I missing? Oh, Miracle Laurie from Dollhouse.
Oh,
And then I'm gonna cheat. Yeah. And I'm gonna cheat and actually just show you guys.
I did. You have a blog post about you on my blog today, and I did put.
Oh, here. I'm sorry. I can't believe I forgot him. Doug Jones from everything Guillermo del Toro's ever done. And Ellen Dubin from Lex and Napoleon Dynamite. And okay, so those are the 2 I missed because I always miss 1 or 2 of them, and it always pisses me off. And it's always a different one each time.
Right. Well, keeping all that in your head.
Mm.
So how did you get them? Did you go through their agents?
For the most part, what we did.
Did you already know them? Are you in the in crowd? We want to know. Do you have to be somebody to get actors?
No, not at all. If you want to know, like, okay, well, how I went about it was Neil knew a couple of folks, and then myself or people associated with the project would meet people at conventions. Actually,
you might want to tell everybody who Neil is.
I'm sorry, Neil Johnson is the director of the project. I'm the producer and creator, and Neil is the man who directed the pilot, and he also directed Starship, which I was working on when I first had the idea.
Okay, perfect.
And he knew a couple of folks, and then a few other folks associated with the project. New folks like Adrian, for example, knew Tori, so on and so forth. And then also just through meeting folks at conventions and talking to them about the project. If you have, once you start getting like 1 or 2, so like we got 1 or 2 of them on board, it became a lot easier to get the rest because those first couple actually served kind of like to vouch for us.
Yeah.
You'll say, yes, this is a legitimate project. Yes, we have named talent on board. And if these people are, because when actors are committing to a project, they're putting their relationship on the line. Or I'm sorry, they're putting their career on the line. And if it comes out like a piece of crap, it really can hurt them long run. And so when you have 1 or 2 already saying, they're on board, which basically is telling the world, they're basically telling everybody else, yes, this is a quality project, this is going to not, suck, and I'm putting my name behind this. And so it becomes a lot easier to start getting other folks on board. And it really was just a process of beating our head against the wall, figuring out, okay, who knew who, and sometimes, we went through agents, and other times we went through those personal connections. I will say to all the folks out there who are looking to put together their own project or... Okay, I'm sorry. That was a change here. But anyone who is looking to get celebrity talent on their own projects or anything like that, first off, remember, you're never going to get or almost never going to get the first person you ever approach for a specific role. It's going to take, more often than not, it's going to take putting together a list and then just going through that list until you get to the person who will say yes. On top of that, whenever you can approach the actor directly, do it, because they're going to have different motivations from their agent or manager. Oftentimes the agent or manager is more looking, keep in mind, they get about 10 to 50% of whatever the actor does. So they're going to be more concerned oftentimes if they're going to be more concerned with, okay, well, what are you paying them, and is my cut going to be worth the time, effort, frustration of this whole damn thing? And so if you're a low budget project who can only afford to pay a few $100s a day, they're going to blow you off more often than not. However, if you approach the actor directly and say, hey, look, I've got your hey, look, here's all my materials, here's the trailer we shot, here's the concept art, here's the script, here's who we have attached already, if you already have folks attached, they'll be able to, and you could pitch the project as something that they're going to want to be a part of, even if you can't pay, tens of thousands of dollars, but something they're going to be proud of and that's going to interest them, then you have a better chance of getting them on board.
That is, that's good advice. One thing I'm wondering is, how long did it take you, like on average, to get one of those actors with the process you were talking about?
It varied, depending on the actor, depending on where we were at with the project. It's kind of like that snowball. You know those cartoons where you do a little snowball and you throw it down a hill and just get bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and goes faster and faster and faster as time goes on. It was kind of like that, where we got the initial push, we got the first couple of talent on board, and there would be these long gaps of months where we were just trying and pounding our head against the wall trying to get that next person to come on board. And then towards the end there, once we got, reached a certain critical mass, once we reached that certain critical mass, it became much easier to get folks on board.
Okay, no, that's really good, because it is really, really impressive. Very impressive.
Yeah, we're really lucky to have these folks on board.
Did you have a reason in mind for shooting the pilot independently as opposed to just pitching an idea to a production company?
Yeah, I didn't want to get bogged down in development hell for 20 years.
You sound like you're familiar with development hell.
A little bit, I mean, I did start in the industry fairly young. This is I haven't exactly been through the process, but I know of the process, and just especially when you don't have too many producing credits already, when you're just starting out and you're like basically going to studios and say, hey, I got this awesome script, do you want to produce it? Well, they get that hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of times a day, and it's very hard to stand out. Whereas if I just said, you know what, forget it, come hell or high water, I'm going to make this and it's going to get out, and it's going to get out to audiences, there's nothing they can do to stop you. And, and you're not reliant on that studio system anymore. For me, I've always been a huge sci-fi fan, and I haven't been very happy with the direction that sci-fi has been going in the past, 10 years or so. And so I felt that this was something that needed to be made, that sci-fi audiences needed to see. I'm sorry?
Oh, I agree. I agree. I'm really excited. I mean, I can't wait to see a trailer of something. I'm so excited.
Well, I do have a few clips if you want to see them.
Yeah, why don't you show us a clip before we talk some more?
Sure. This is the clip I'm about to show, because this wasn't prepared at all, nothing. I'm going to go ahead and do a screen share here. The clip I'm about to show is not on that page. This is an older one that we did just early on while we were trying to just kind of give people a sense of the look and feel of the show and the characters. And this is during one of the confessional scenes that we have in the project, where one of the other characters, Walter's character, Mooney, who's the chief engineer, is having fun with the weapons officer.
Okay.
All right.
Well, we Eugens like to pass the time by reading, chess, martial arts, the usual. Oh. Engineering to deck 10, please. Engineering, cancel that, please. Thank you. Engineering to deck 10, please. Oh. Should we just carry on? Yes, okay. We Eugens like to pass the time by reading, chess, martial arts, the usual kind of thing. Oh. I'm so sorry. Engineering to deck 10. Alpha!
And who is that character?
Hold on, just a second.
We'll just pick it up again. Okay. So, oh fuck. Mooney!
That character is Sirius Halud, and he is the weapons and Eugen liaison officer. And Eugens are a race of humans who have gone off and decided that they're going to try to, through selective breeding, create the next evolution of mankind. Not in a, you know, Hitler, we are superior kind of thing, and exterminate everyone else, but just more of a, like, let's all work together to better ourselves sort of way.
Oh, okay. And the difference between that and Hitler is?
Hitler was genetic purity and
Okay.
let's murder everybody else and whatnot, whereas the Eugens are more about, okay, they actually want genetic diversity because that means that there's more things that can pop up and grow and add to the whole.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Right. So they don't. It's not about discrimination or saying we are superior or one group of people. It's about let's all work together to better ourselves and everyone else.
Okay, that's excellent. All right. So how you just finished shooting the pilot, right?
Mm-hmm.
Am I correct about that? And how long did it take to actually shoot it?
We shot it about 8 days. Well, it was the actual production itself, and then we're probably going to end up having a pickup day or two coming up. But yep.
Okay. And what was that like to shoot it? I mean, because you know, not all productions are created equal. So I mean, was it fun? Was it miserable? Was it hot, cold? I don't know. I'm just give us some sort of idea what it was like shooting and working with all those great actors.
All of the above.
Or a mixture of.
Mixture of. I mean, to sit there and be there with with all these folks. Like, yes, I grew up in the industry working with folks like you mentioned, like Arnold Schwarzenegger and all that. And so, yes, I'm used to being on set with celebrities, but I never was able to work with folks that in the sci-fi realm, which is where like all my favorite stories were, where all my childhood heroes were, and all that. And I had always hoped I'd be working with these folks someday, but I always figured it would be, later on in life, 10, 15, 20 years down the road. And so to be working with these folks now on a project that I created, it was definitely a great fan moment, a great geek moment, as well as a great honor and privilege. And so that's kind of how I feel about all that. And it just kind of goes to show you that if you have a dream, if you have a project that you really feel strongly about, and you just go for it and don't worry about, don't let fear stop you and just go for it, you can really accomplish a hell of a lot.
Are there particular steps that you would suggest to following that dream? Because there's having a dream, and then there's ways to get there. For structure, professionalism. Do you have any advice?
Well, every project's going to be different, so I can't sit there and talk about these broad generalizations that are going to work for every project. Oh, I'm sorry, I can't talk about specific things that worked in our instance that will work as broad generalizations for all projects. But what I can say is that if you keep ego out of it and focus on just creating the best project you can and including everybody, making everybody a part of it and feel like they're a part of it, you'll be able to get a lot further along than these other projects. So many times I've seen projects fall apart because the people at the top either they let their ego get in the way and they become tyrants on their own projects and actively work to destroy it pretty much because once you start shutting people down and not letting people contribute, they're going to feel frustrated and end up leaving the project. And so there's a lot of folks out there, a lot of projects I've seen where if they haven't collapsed, they've been severely hindered just because the people at the top get full of themselves and they refuse to listen. And so when things are about to go wrong and they're not listening and they don't see it themselves, well, then things go wrong. It turns to a mess. It becomes disorganized because the left hand doesn't know what the right hand's doing, and it becomes a complete shit show. Excuse the French.
Like a blame game?
Yeah, you get blame games. You get ruffled feathers. People start feeling like you start pissing people off, and then they're not going to work with you again. They're not going to do you favors down the road. And especially with independent film, when it's so low budget, you're relying heavily on favors. And so if you are treating people poorly or coming across disorganized, they're not going to be doing you those favors, and your project's going to suffer for it.
So I totally remember that it's a collaboration.
Mm-hmm. Yes, and never be afraid to listen to people. Now, obviously, you don't want to take it too far the other way to the point where go and you have everybody's pulling in a million different directions. There's no central vision or leadership, but you always want to make sure to listen to everybody and make sure that everybody has input, and never be afraid to listen to people's suggestions, because you never know when they're going to see something that you're not seeing.
Got it.
Yeah. So that'd probably be the best thing I'd say.
No, go ahead. What were you saying?
No, that's probably the best thing I could say is, as you put it, make sure that you're keeping it a collaborative project, because as soon as it's not, it's going to fall apart.
So, EJ, tell me, when the pilot's all done, where are you going with it from there?
Well, I've got a nice...
What's your dream network? What's your dream network?
Well, like I said, I've got this nice trash bin sitting right here that I think I might, just chuck it in and it'll be done. 3 years down the drain. No,
I know the feeling.
No, I think my ideal scenario would be... Huh?
I said, been there and do not even have a t-shirt for it. Yes.
Yep. No, my ideal scenario would be to end up on a serious web platform like Netflix or Hulu or something along those lines, uh, putting together full out seasons. I've got the show mapped out for 14 episode seasons,
Wow.
and well,
Why
thank you.
14 episodes?
That's been the general trend with television these days, is rather than putting out 26, they're doing 13, 14 episodes. And what I've been noticing is the reason they're doing that is because then you can take that same budget and inject it into these shorter seasons, and wind up with a far higher quality project.
Yes. Now that you can sit down on Netflix and, power through, 8 seasons of a show, you start realizing 22 or more episodes is way too much.
Never!
Seriously. It's like, whoa, they could have stopped this a long time ago and moved on to the next season. But I guess,
yeah, and there's the other risk. You run the risk of getting filler episodes that have nothing to do with the story.
right.
And also, I mean, if you look at let me check. I think House of Cards is only 14, 15 episodes. But if you look at shows like Hell on Wheels or
Yes.
I know, great show, right?
Yeah.
But if you look at Hell on Wheels and what's the other one? That's not what I wanted. Walking Dead on both on AMC, you see that they're much shorter episodes, and because of it they're able to invest more money per episode and get a much higher quality.
Right. Well, British film tends to be a very high quality, and I had a British actor once tell me that it was a while ago, and it was new to me. It's like, we don't do what you Americans do. It's like, we shoot just 4, maybe 6 episodes, and never more than 4 series, and that's it. But they're always really high quality. So maybe there's a merging going on.
Apparently, he's not a fan of Doctor Who.
Well, Doctor Who started and stopped and started, yeah.
Right, but it's been around for the better part of 50 years. It had 10 years where it was.
Yeah, you have to realize Doctor Who really was kind of geared at first towards kids, so it was.
What do you mean at first? It's still geared towards kids.
I know, the kid in me.
Yeah. Well, I think Moffat's quoted as saying that it's a kids show for adults and an adult show for kids.
Kids, yeah. So anyway, I'm just seeing kind of a merging of maybe that sort of format, and cable's definitely picked up, shorter seasons.
Yeah. I don't know if it's intentional or inspired by what how the Brits have been doing, but or how the BBC's been doing it. But I do know that that's been the general trend, and so yeah, that's 14 episodes is kind of what I figured it would be.
Okay, I was just wondering because I've seen 7, 10, and 13. That's the first time I heard 14. So anyway.
Well, on the web you can do whatever you want, so it's an arbitrary number. I was thinking about there would be good, 13, 14 episodes.
Right. Okay. And so I guess my original question was, do you have a network in mind?
We have a thing. It's not to a point where I can really talk about it. There are.
I thought that might be on a thin line, but I thought I'd toss it out there.
No, it's fine. What I can say is that there's several parties that are interested, and there's several parties that we're going to be pitching to as soon as we finish up our trailer, which will be debuted to the public at Kamikaze.
When is that?
That is October 31st through November 2nd.
Where?
Oh, Los Angeles.
Oh.
Convention Center.
For those who are We're not in the LA circle. Okay.
Excuse me. Like, doesn't everybody know about LA?
Okay. Well, do you have anything else that you would like to, share with anyone who, on this? Because I don't see any questions so far, and it may have been because we started so late.
Hmm.
We may have lost a lot of our audience, but I don't see any questions yet. Can you think of anything that you would like to share to help others on their independent endeavor?
Well, there's a couple of things. First off, if you can be doing anything other than working in the entertainment industry and be happy, do it. Because
I felt that way about 2 hours ago, so
Huh?
I felt that way about 2 hours ago. It's like, why couldn't it be like everybody else and just, Anyway,
I hear you.
we were having our technical difficulties. Anyway.
Well, and the reason I say that is because this industry is there's so much competition. It's so difficult, and there's so many ruthless people out there. There's so many mean-spirited people out there, especially if you're an artistic person who's going to be sensitive to that. Yeah, it really has to be a need. It has to be something that you have to be doing, because if you're not doing it, or if you're happy not doing it, there's going to be so many people out there who will never be happy not doing it, and those are the people you're going to be competing with. So
Right.
So there's that.
You were so right, EJ. It is not a casual thing to get into.
Not at all.
It's definitely not casual. You definitely have to want it more than anything in the world.
Precisely. And
you have to be the sort of person it's jonesing because you're not on set. You've been off set for a while. You just, yeah.
Or haven't been able to write for a while, or haven't been able to act for a while, or, whatever your thing is. Mm-hmm. And then also, once you've made that determination that you can't live without the industry or without whatever, whatever your specialty is, writing, acting, producing, what have you, once you made that determination, work at it every single day. There's no excuse. There's no reason why you shouldn't be moving forward. And if you're constantly working at it, if you're constantly looking for, okay, well, what's the next step? What more can I be doing to further myself, further my career, further my project? You'll start to see things take shape. And it'll be step by step, and you will have these periods where you're panicking because you don't know if it's going to, if your pilot going to be picked up, if your, movie's going to get sold, or if you're going to get that role. But if you just keep moving forward, just taking it one step at a time, eventually it'll take shape. Eventually the opportunities will open up, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
So what is your secret to being so centered about going forward?
Lots and lots of alcohol.
Yeah.
No, part of it's being in the industry.
At least you can go to sleep. And the ideas stop bouncing around.
Well, like I was saying,
this really is peppermint water.
This is not tea. No. No, it's tea. No, as far as my secret to just remaining centered about it, a lot of it has to do with just having been in the industry a while, especially starting so young. I really was able to train myself like, okay, I just did the audition, yeah, I'm really excited about it, but now I got to put it out of my mind and focus on what else I can be doing while I'm waiting for the callback, if the callback ever comes. Because lots of times you go out on audition as an actor, and they never call you back. You never hear any feedback. And it could be that they loved you and you just weren't right for the part, or it could be they hated you. You never know. And so there, a lot of that kind of feeds into it. Also, just my personality is always to, okay, okay, this has gotten to a point where I'm just waiting to hear back. There's not a whole lot I can be doing. So, what else can I be working on? Let's keep moving forward in other areas while I'm waiting for something else to be going on, and kind of keeping myself distracted that way. And also realizing that even in the bad days, okay, well, yeah, things are really sucking right now, and things seem to be falling apart. But if you just stick with it and move through it and push through it, eventually you're going to get to another one of those high points where everything seems to be going perfect in your way. So, yeah, hope, determination, hope and determination. There we go.
Well, I'm going to ask you the $100,000 question, I guess, because I ask everyone who has any sort of a show that they've done, have you tried any crowdfunding, and what have you learned from it? Because everybody wants to know about crowdfunding.
Yeah, we tried crowdfunding. We did a Kickstarter and an Indiegogo for Nobility, and we raised some money through them. The things we learned, ours weren't incredibly successful, and the reason was honestly, the reason primarily is that we launched them too soon. We weren't ready.
Okay, that's good advice.
Yeah, you want to make sure, and I know it's a bit of a chicken or the egg problem, but you want to make sure that you have plenty of content. You want to make sure that you have plenty of people on your team already. You want to make sure that you have plenty of outlets to advertise your crowdfunding campaign. Yeah, I mean that's the way to do it. For us specifically, we didn't have a lot of content out. We had a couple of videos here or there, and that was it. We had a VFX reel pretty much. We had a few videos, and that was a few pictures of the ship, and we had one cast member on board, celebrity cast member and now we thought between that celebrity cast member and a few other folks that we had on board that we had enough of a launching platform to get people to pledge, and you really didn't. Keep in mind that you probably can expect a 0.5% of people who actually hear about your project to pledge. Now you hear, I know you're hearing, a lot of the folks out there, they're hearing about, especially these Star Trek fan productions that go out there and they raise, hundreds of thousands, to $500,000 or more dollars on their Kickstarter. But you guys have to keep in mind that they already have an established fan base. They already, exactly.
Good point.
Star Trek is such a huge iconic thing that when somebody goes, hey, I'm doing a Star Trek thing and I have this Star Trek celebrity on board and we have this clip with cool VFX for you, it's a lot easier than if you're starting with an original project, especially one that, excuse me, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
A lot, also you have to keep in mind, look at the content of your projects. A lot of the projects out there don't have a broad appeal. And if your project is one of those projects that doesn't have an obvious broad appeal, an obvious mass appeal, then maybe crowdfunding isn't the right way to go for you. If it's a very niche thing that only you and maybe a few of your friends or something are actually going to ever watch and like, or even if you do plan it on showing around film festivals and it's an extremely high concept art project or something, crowdfunding is probably not the best place for you, just because with crowdfunding, it has to be something that gets people excited. It has to be one of those things where people are like, "Oh my God, that is so incredibly awesome! I remember, Walter Koenig from when I was a kid, and I want to see another thing with him. So I'm going to go ahead and donate $500, or $50 for a DVD, or $500 for a poster, or upwards of like 10, 20,000. I think that some of these things have out there.
Wow. I didn't know that.
Oh yeah, some of them go up to like multiple thousands of dollars, or like our project, we had somebody pledge $3,000 for a walk-on roll, or a one-line roll. Yeah.
Wow. Oh, walk-on roll. Oh, okay.
Yeah. Well, not a walk-on roll. It was a one-liner, but
oh, they got a line.
We got a line. I think we had 2,000 for a walk-on, 3,000 for you'll get a line, and then we set the availability to a certain amount, and then I wrote in the script a couple of points where you could do that, where even if they were horrible actors, it was not going to screw over the project.
Right.
And what else? What was it? So we did that, and I'm sorry, I lost my train of thought.
You were talking.
So it has to be one of those things where they get so excited that I'm gonna boom, 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 boom. And if your project is, it isn't one of those that's going to generate that kind of excitement amongst a large group of people, then crowdfunding is probably not the best way to go, and you might want to either look into either self-funding or private funding, more traditional investment. If it's a documentary on spinach, and the only reason you want to do it is to support the local spinach museum, well, okay, maybe, I don't think you're going to get a crowdfunding for that. So keep in mind what the type of project, and make sure that crowdfunding is something that's right for your project.
That's really good advice. I think that's really good advice. Because it was back in 2011. I don't even want to mention the project at this moment, but I started too early too.
Yeah, it's a common thing. People not realizing when the right time is.
Okay, well, I'm checking again, because I'm just checking here over on Google+. Oh, that's too bad, because so many people signed up, and I think we may have lost them with those few minutes there. I sent out, we had technical difficulties. We're back, but anyway, thank you, EJ. I mean, if you can think of anything else. Oh, and I'll send you the link to this, because watch it grow, especially as it gets later in the day. People get off work, people who couldn't be here. Last year I did this in the evening, but it was pretty rough on me at the time, so it's like, okay, we're going to do it in the day and see how it goes. So a lot of people have to work. But then again, we have our phones. You can watch on the phones. So I'm just so honored that you could come. Tell Neil we missed him.
Will do.
Yeah.
Glad to be here. Thank you for the invite.
And I have up here, remember to go visit www.nobilitytheseries.com. And what can they do on there? Is there any place that they can sign up for a list or like?
Well, honestly, if you want updates, the best place to go would be facebook.com/Nobility the Series, or to follow us on Twitter at Nobility Series.
Okay, can you say those again, just in case?
Facebook.com/Nobility the Series, and at Nobility Series.
Okay, all right.
Also, feel free to check us out at Kamikaze at the Los Angeles Convention Center, October 31st through November 2nd.
And you're going to have a booth there. Can people take pictures with you? What are you doing there?
Sure can. We'll have a booth, we'll have signings, and we'll have a panel on November 2nd.
You're going to be in a panel.
Mm-hmm.
Who's going to be on the panel with you? The whole cast?
Several members of the cast and crew. I don't have it all off the top of my head right now, but you can definitely expect several of our celebrities as well as several of excuse me, several of the crew.
I tell you, you better lay off that tea, whatever it is you're drinking over there.
No, this is good. Okay, good for my health too. All right, I'm just.
I want to thank everybody for joining us today. And again, my apologies for the technical difficulties. EJ, thank you so much for being our first guinea pig for all of this and helping me iron it all out.
No worries. Thanks for the invite, and definitely looking forward to talking to you in the future.
Okay, well, we'll see you later, and we'll see everybody tomorrow at 2 p.m. CST. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Oh, I'm on Google Chrome. Finger.